my point is, look at the consequences of stuff, will you please? Like right now, you've heard me talk about the employee retention tax credit. I've done that for a while. And then the IRS says, "Oh, we're not processing any more cases," which was total bunkum, total ridiculousness, right? They're like, "Oh, we're not going to process any more cases until January. Any new cases?" They had a 600,000 case backlog that they admitted to, right? They weren't going to be processing any new cases till March, right? So this moratorium was totally meaningless. And then they gave out another announcement, and their backlog had, like a month later, and their backlog had increased to almost 900,000. It was 830,000, something like that. 800 plus thousand. Let's call it 800,000. It was more than that, but there you go. Okay, which means that everyone was ignoring them. So what do they what do they do? They go, "Oh, we've gone after 20,000, of you bad people who filed the returns." The ERC, right? 20,000. Holy cow, that's a lot, isn't it? 20,000. Yikes, I'd be worried. You know what these were for? Non-existent companies. 20,000 people. You want to know the level of stupid fraud. I mean stupidity, right? These were 20,000 companies that had applied for it that didn't exist. Now you think, well, okay, you got to like, 900,000 applications and 20,000 of them, like 0.02%. Correct me if I'm doing the math wrong, right? Is it less than that, right? A half a percent? I don't know, a small fraction of it, is just BS. These were companies that either didn't exist or had no employees. Okay. So when the government comes out and says, "Oh, we're going after, you better not get your tax return here. You better not get your tax refund. Because if you do, we're coming after you. 20,000 of you, we're coming after." Okay, wait a second. And it's right in there. And see, this is the thing. The headline was 20,000 tax cheats. Well, you know, if you're a regular person and you think that, you know, especially if it's a thing like the ERC, which is kind of difficult to understand, and you say, "Oh, 20,000, they're coming after 20,000. 20,000, yikes." And then you find out, well, doesn't it make you wonder? It's like, wait a second. You mean until this great big, "Oh, we're looking at everything" push, you were giving money to companies that didn't even exist or had zero employees? Like you weren't checking that stuff? Like this wasn't just kind of normal routine for you, right? That make you wonder what the heck is going on with these people? But that's it, because they were just sending. They didn't even check to see if they existed. They just said, "Hey, give me some money," and the IRS said, "Okay." And now it's like, "Oh, this is a big problem." It's a big problem because that's how they did business. This whole COVID thing. It's like if you should have gotten it, maybe you did. Maybe you did, right? But trillions got wasted, totally wasted. And now who are they blaming? They're blaming the people who actually worked. Well, there's a big surprise for you, huh? Everything goes to crap, whatever. You see a big problem, and who's to blame? You darn church going person. What a horrible, that's terrible. Oh, you need to be more whatever, fill in the blank. And it's like, wait a second, what the hell did I do? I just showed up and went to work, you know, church on Sunday, stuff like that. I mean, oh yeah, that makes you, pick your ism or whatever. It makes you terrible. What a terrible person you are. And the idea that you would want to hang on to anything. Oh, and if you run a business that actually employs people, oh, you must be a plutocrat. You're like John Wayne, Bruce Wayne. Yeah, yeah. You're Bruce Wayne. Totally ridiculous. And then the IR, then your government agencies. Thank you very much, IRS. 20,000. Which of course then you get the phone calls. It's like, "Hey, what's going on with this?" And it's like, why don't and here's the thing. This is what like blows my mind. because they're not like they know that all they have to do is get a headline out there, 20,000 rejected, and then the million who filed all get worried, right? And then you only have to read a few lines into the press release to find out that these guys are so bad at their jobs that they were shoveling money out to companies that didn't exist. They didn't exist. Seriously. And they take forever to process it. And they weren't doing any checking. No checking. And then when they finally say, well, wait a second, maybe we should find out if these guys ever filed a tax return in their life. Oh, no, they didn't. Maybe we shouldn't give them any tax refund because they didn't exist. Are you kidding me? It just makes you shake your head. What is going on? Well, I'll tell you what's going on. What's going on is that the government is out of control. They don't know what they're doing, right? So if you didn't exist or if you didn't have employees, both of which you had to exist, you had to pay money in to get the money back. That's the deal. That is 100% of the deal with the employee retention tax credit, right? But they don't like paying it. They don't like paying it to you. They don't like paying it to the small business that you work for. Okay. So we'll say all these scary, horrible things. We'll be as scary as we possibly can. And in the meantime, we'll be complaining that so much money is going to this because we're giving money to non-existent companies that don't exist. What else can you say? Or didn't have employees. They don't meet the basic requirements.